Well, I have good news for you today. The good news today, once again, comes from the book of Revelation. We're looking today at the seven churches, and specifically the sixth of the seven churches, which is called Philadelphia. This map gives you a general idea of where those cities are located. See, on the bottom left side of the map is where the letters originated from, and that is Patmos. And then the letters followed a postal route, and today we're all the way over to Philadelphia, which is the next to last. Philadelphia, interesting letter, interesting church, interesting city, and you can see this is a road map, the first century road map. You can see where Philadelphia is located on the map, and Philadelphia was located in a strategic place. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about that later, but as you look at the map here, I want you to realize that Jerusalem is off to the right. It's down sort of off the map to the lower right. And just like in our country, if you look at the pilgrims landing in on the East Coast, Plymouth Rock and all of that, and then the population eventually spread west. Same thing happened here. The population was off the map over to the right and a little bit lower, but then it spread west. And so in order to get to the main cities in the western part of Turkey, the road that you'd have to go through is Philadelphia. I mean, you'd go through that city. The road goes right through Philadelphia on the way to Pergamus, which was the capital at that time. Now, the Roman Empire had many cities in it, and each city was known for a particular thing. And of the seven churches, Ephesus was known as a political center, Smyrna the commercial center, Pergamus the religious center, and Thyatira was a trade union center, and Sardis was a center for wealth and power. And today we're looking at Philadelphia, which was the cultural center. What we've discovered as we look into Philadelphia is that this particular church and this particular city had a special mission. The city, first of all, was a planted city, and it was sort of like Irvine. Here, our church is located in a planned city, Irvine, California, and Philadelphia was a planned city. The other cities sort of just kind of grew up. But this city was planned. And some nice things happened with planned cities. The roads all run horizontal and vertical. And you have 1st Street, 2nd Street, 3rd Street, and it goes right along. It's kind of easy to find your way around. But here in Philadelphia, we find that it was in many ways similar to what we would do today if we were going to plan a city. This was a planned city, and it was planned to spread the Greek language and culture. What we know is that the most of Western Turkey was given to paganism, and the authorities decided that they would like everyone to be part of this new Roman Empire, and that it would be good if they all had a similar language. It would be good if they all had a similar culture. And so they planted this city so it could be a missionary of Greek language and culture to this whole section of Turkey. And that's important because we'll find that the church does the same thing. Historically, we said that each of these seven churches could apply to a specific period of time, as well as all the churches apply to individual Christians But if we're going to look at a time period, here we'd say this was probably the church of from about 1790 to 1900. This was the church of Protestant orthodoxy, where the church returned to its roots, returned to apostolic faith and doctrine. Another name for what we might entitle this message today is a supernatural force opens the door and no one can shut it. And that's what we're looking at. That's part of the message today for the Church of Philadelphia. Philadelphia's background began about 189. That's when they planted this city. And they wanted to make this city a city that would pretty much be an example of what the Roman Empire should be. And so it was built for that reason. Its name was Brotherly Love because it was dedicated to a brother. There was a king in Pergamus, and he had this city built, and actually the city was given to his brother to rule. And as it was given to his brother to rule, it became known as the Brotherly Love City, the city of Philadelphia, because Philadelphia in Greek means brotherly love. Now, Philadelphia had no fortress. It wasn't like some of the other cities we've looked at where, they were high on a hill and it was a natural, what they call an acropolis or a natural fortress. The geography favored it. Nothing like that. This was built in an area that's pretty much flat. There are valleys on either side, which means that the road had to go down through the middle of the valley. And as the road went down through there, they planted the city. So anybody who was going east would have to go through, going west would have to go through Philadelphia. So because they had no natural geographical advantages, they had to be friends with everybody. And so what you actually find is that there are many coins that have been discovered through archaeological digs that show Philadelphia shaking hands with Ephesus and Thyatira and other cities as well. So they made friends with these other cities because they did not want to be invaded. An earthquake happened in 17 AD. And we've mentioned this before because it ruined about 10 cities in Asia Minor. It ruined them to the point where in many cases they had to be rebuilt. But in this particular case, there were a number of aftershocks. And in fact, some of the historians actually call this city, Philadelphia, the city of earthquakes. It's sort of like Orange County, I suppose. This past week, we even had an earthquake over in Catalina. I think it was centered somewhere over there. Well, there was an earthquake that was a devastating earthquake, ruined the whole city of Philadelphia along with other cities, but then they kept having aftershocks in Philadelphia because it was right on the fault line. And so when the city was ruined, it was destroyed, then they would change the name of the city. It went from Philadelphia to Neo-Caesarea, which means the city of the new Caesar, or the new city of Caesar, because they rebuilt it. And Caesar paid for it. The Roman Empire is where all this was happening, and so the Roman Caesar put up the money, and so the city was rebuilt. And to honor the one who provided the money, they changed the name of the city to Neo-Caesarea. And then there was another earthquake that devastated the area, and the city had to be rebuilt again. And this time they they named it after the family name